It's like gold. It's just like gold, only it's virtual. It's digital.
The United States of America just released the cryptocurrency bulls.
I'm also committed to signing landmark crypto market structure legislation this year to grow the industry.
Make sure you watch today's whole video or forever risk missing out.
Maybe not even in 10 years, maybe even a lot less time, maybe a couple of years from now.
Different altcoins we'll be talking about today.
I think Solana is one of the more interesting stories in crypto.
Most people have no idea that this is going on behind the scenes. Smash the like button. Here at Altcoin Daily, we keep you updated on the entire cryptocurrency market on a daily basis. Cryptocurrency is the future. Make sure you watch today's entire video because I'm going to prove it to you. So first of all, Ethereum supply on exchanges hits a decade low. Hasn't been this low since 10 years ago. In fact, there's only 8.7% of ETH left on centralized exchanges, the lowest since Ethereum launched in 2015. Ethereum's going to really rally. I want to talk more about my ETH thesis in just a second, but we know what happens next. We know what's going on behind the scenes. Bullish, President Donald Trump commits to signing landmark crypto market structure legislation this year.
I'm also committed to signing landmark crypto market structure legislation this year to grow the industry. We're going to be growing it even more than people ever thought. It's a really hot industry.
So the Market Structure Bill Clarity Act could get signed in December, January, February. It's happening ASAP. And what most people don't realize is all of this positive regulation that we're seeing, it's not something that's 10 years away. It's something that's happening now and will go into full effect within the next 2 years. And this is according to SEC Chair Paul Atkins himself, saying all U.S. markets will be on-chain. We want to make the United States the crypto capital of the world. This 2-minute clip literally tells you everything you need to know about what comes next for crypto in the US and around the world. Do yourself a favor, listen to what this man says in this 2-minute clip.
Tokenization is the idea of using smart contracts or tokens on chain to be able to that represent, say, an underlying security. And so then that tokenized security is a security and would be subject to SEC rules by law. But the idea is that if it's on chain, on a blockchain, then there's much more transparency as to where it is. Right now, there's a bit of opacity as to who owns what and where the company usually doesn't even know where its who its shareholders are and where the shares reside. So tokenization has the benefit of potentially having, instead of T+1 now trade date +1 for clearance and settlement, the prospect of maybe T0 now, depending on the instrument, and we have to think about netting and all sorts of other things with respect to some instruments. But in principle, the idea of on-chain delivery versus payment and receipt versus payment, DVP, RVP on-chain, is a prospect of de-risking the markets, making them much more transparent and then sure as far as clearance and settlement, because it's always the gap between clearance and settlement and then delivery and payment is the real introduces risk into the system.
Do you expect this is where financial services is going? Are the major banks and the brokers out there today moving increasingly toward tokenization?
Oh, absolutely. Maybe not even in 10 years, maybe even a lot less time, maybe a couple of years from now. So I think that all of this modernization of the markets, I think, is good. And the trouble that we've seen here over the past few years is that the SEC, unlike historically, it never was necessarily at the vanguard of pushing new innovations. It was always a little bit behind the market, of course. But here recently, it's been almost standing athwart the marketplace, and as it's as all these new innovations were coming about. So that's no more. We're actually embracing it, and I believe that we need to be embracing it to keep the United States at the forefront as far as cryptocurrencies and whatnot. There were really only 2 countries in the world here in the last few years that were working to make cryptocurrencies illegal, and that was Communist China and the U.S. through the SEC. So that's changed. It's a new day now, and so we want to embrace this new technology.
I mean, when you have the Federal Reserve Chair coming out and saying Bitcoin is not a competitor to the dollar, it's a competitor to gold, we like Bitcoin.
People use Bitcoin as a speculative asset, right? It's like gold. It's just like gold, only it's virtual. It's digital. People are not using it as a form of payment or as a store of value. It's highly volatile. It's not a competitor for the dollar. It's really a competitor for gold. You know, that's really how I think of it.
Look, Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong and BlackRock CEO Larry Fink, they both agree that Bitcoin is the new digital gold and people will buy it in times of uncertainty.
And we're shaped by the experiences we had. And I think for Charlie and Warren, they grew up in an environment of America preeminence and the dollar was everything and how dare you question it. And, we're in a world now where democracies around the world are trying to figure out how to curb deficit spending. And, Bitcoin is kind of this new digital gold. People are going to it in times of uncertainty. And so it's tough for them to contemplate a world that is more decentralized and running on the internet.
So knowing that Bitcoin is competing with gold, Bitcoin is competing with store value, knowing that Bitcoin is just over 2 trillion today, obviously there's a lot of room for runway, and most people are not bullish enough. People are saying 150K maybe. Hey, Bitcoin's not going for 150K. It's going for everything. A 400 to 500 trillion savings market, and Bitcoin's only 2.43 trillion today. So that's a 100x to 200x Bitcoin runway. You are not bullish enough.
You see the price of Bitcoin heading?
Higher.
How much higher?
A lot higher. My general framework from the highest level is human beings collectively, we own about $900 trillion worth of stuff. That's equities, the things behind us, real estate, precious metals, fine art, all of the things that we own. Half of that we're using as a savings account. We're owning the portfolio of companies or the art or the house to actually try and persist wealth into the future. I think Bitcoin's going after that market. It's going after a market of $400 to $500 trillion worth, and right now it's $2.5 trillion. So I think in purchasing power terms, Bitcoin can go up 100 to 200 times more from here.
All right.
So I'm bullish on Bitcoin. I'm bullish on Ethereum. There's also one other altcoin which I really think is differentiating itself. We'll talk about that in just a second. But understand this. In my opinion, Ethereum is truly the dark horse of this cycle. Bitcoin is digital gold. Gold is a $30 trillion asset. There's no structural reason why Bitcoin cannot command a third of that and push towards a 10 trillion valuation in the short to mid-term, but it's kind of hard to understand Ethereum versus the market it's going for. Bears talk about 6K Ethereum, bulls talk about 10K Ethereum. Nobody can really paint a clear vision on how big it can get. Well, maybe Tom Lee, maybe Larry Fink. The truth is this: if Ethereum is the new Wall Street and it can capture even a fraction of global settlement, consumer rails, L2 activity, stablecoins, and tokenization assets, a 10K ETH in 2026 or maybe 2027 emerges as a baseline, not a moonshot. Hey, if you watch Altcoin Daily regularly, you should become an Altcoin Daily channel YouTube member. We have multiple tiers. I put this out to every tier the other day, and I truly believe this. In crypto, peak pessimism usually hides the best setups. Even if you're sidelined, stay curious and do a little research every day. The trades that changed my portfolio were the ones that I found long before they hit my main feed. Becoming a channel member is a great way to have more personal access to me and my brother at Altcoin Daily. We put out posts and videos just for you. So if you follow Altcoin Daily regularly, consider becoming a channel member, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4. And if you do become a member, I do see your comments first in the YouTube comments section, and I like to interact with channel members in the comment section because I can see who you are. Let's talk about a coin that seems like most people have forgot about. I mean, we haven't forgot about it. Anthony Scarmacucci has not forgot about it. And of course, it is a big cap of crypto, but Solana is the future of crypto, or it's one of the cryptos that has a strong future. That is according to Anthony Scarmacucci, who's bullish on Bitcoin and Ethereum as well, but he says it is Solana that is the next big thing. Listen to his thesis very carefully. This is something I think he makes a lot of good points here about Solana.
I think Solana is one of the more interesting stories in crypto because it's an easy platform to use to eventually tokenize assets. And so you report live from the stock exchange. I believe, as does people like Larry Fink, Nicole, that we're going to be tokenizing stocks and bonds over the next 3 to 5 years. And Solana is a very inexpensive, very fast, does tens of thousands of transactions per second with great finality. And even though we're in a little bit of a crypto swoon right now and a correction that started at the beginning of October or mid-October, I do believe that this is going to be one of the big stories over the next 5 years.
What would it be challenging?
Okay, so I'll give you 2 easy examples. There are now Solana-based stable coins. Circle has one, for an example. I believe eventually they'll sit on your wallet inside your phone, and you'll have dollars on the Solana network that you'll be able to transact with retailers or restaurateurs. And so if you and I walk into the restaurant, we're going to pay for the meal, I'll be able to use the phone, get the wallet address of the waiter or the business owner, and move money B2B to the owner without going through the credit card system. That would be one example. A second example would be, and this really dates me, Nicole, but when I joined the industry, when I joined Wall Street, it was T+5. So it took 5 days to get a stock into your account. Now it's T+1. But with Solana, if we could take those securities and put them on top of the layer 1 contract known as Solana, it would be T plus minutes. And I guess if you really want to be cautious due to all the regulation, it could be T plus a couple of hours, and it would end up in your account. And it would be done at about a 90% discount of cost of what's currently going on in the marketplace. So I think these technologies will eventually be adopted and used, but we will need some greater clarity from the U.S. government, and I think those bills will be passed, by the end of the first half of 2026.
Hey, make sure you follow us on Twitter. We are so close to hitting 2 million X followers. If you can get in on our Twitter, follow before 2 million, you're getting in early. So I'm going to put that in the description and the comment section too. Follow us on Twitter. Become a channel member. Hey, my name is Aaron at Altcoin Daily. Make sure you follow us for daily cryptocurrency videos. Big week coming up. We're going to be dropping a lot of big end of year interviews and videos for the end of year and for the beginning of next year. So make sure you subscribe and watch every day. My name is Aaron. See you tomorrow.